Waiting. I apologize. I was just talking to our friend, Bumblebee T. She is out of the hospital, back in the hotel room for at least 8 days. I don't understand American healthcare, let alone um, healthcare in Great Britain. Why healthcare does not seem anything to do with health or care. You know what I mean? There's very little care involved, it seems to me. Needs to be revamped, overhauled completely. Hey, Austin, how you doing? Poor man, how are you? How's the workouts going, poor man? I haven't seen our friend Skits in a while. I hope he's doing well. Austin says hi to poor man. So, we're going to be pushing hard to help our friend Austin get to 1K, 1,000 subs. He's at 530 right now, I think he said earlier today. So, we need 470 more, and then we're going to keep working on those watch hours. Live stream's the way to do it with watch hours. That's what helped me. And of course, ask your friends. Ask your friends to help you. Hey, Eric, my friend, how are you? Bonjour, mon ami. And with that, I've used up my French. Eric says, very well, and you? I'm doing well too, my friend. I can't tell you how good it is to see you back in action. The pull-up machine. No one does pull-ups more powerfully than Eric. Eric Varan. Varan. Am I saying that right, Eric? Pull-ups, Navy SEALs. He's a machine. It's just great seeing you doing burpees again. Poor man says, subbed Austin. Thank you, poor man. Hey, this is Eric has a mod status. He's got a blue wrench now. So if you want to click on his channel and subscribe, um, again, Eric is a pull-up machine. Leo, my friend, how are you? I see you're going live and for your workout. I think it said I had you up. I think it's at 7:10, right? Let me double check. Yep, 7:10. Leo at day 249 is with a 40-pound weight vest, Navy SEALs. It is Navy SEAL Thursday, by the way. 7:10. Don't want to miss that, guys. Here's one thing you can say for certain. Leo said so, brings it. Every time. No excuses. I've seen Leo show up injured. I've seen him show up not feeling well. I've seen him show up not feeling motivated. I've seen him show up with a hangover before. I've seen him show up in extreme heat. I've seen him show up with a bouncing puppy dog dancing all around him. But no excuses. No excuses. Those might be conditions, but conditions aren't excuses. Conditions are just what you get your reps in. So you can acknowledge the condition, and then you get the reps. That's what Leo does. If Leo's hungover, he'll let you know. Guys, I'm hungover. Guys, I don't feel like doing this. Guys, my shoulder hurts. And then he goes and he gets rep after rep after rep. Shohel Rana, did I say that right? Hello, my friend. How are you? Austin says, thank you. Leo says, wishing you a great day, brother. Poor man says, sup, Leo man. Austin says, well, sub back. Awesome, Austin. Leo says, I'm doing weighted seals at 7:10, and I'm going to do a burpee matty routine right now as a warm-up. Man, warming up with burpee matty. If there's anything more insane than doing a burpee matty workout, it is warming up with a burpee matty workout. I have been doing his, it's been a while since I've done one of his workouts. But man, I think I started doing them about 2 years ago. I would often do them as a finisher. I would do my 20-minute busy dad routine, and then I do a finisher with a burpee matty, and I was spent. Poor man says, have to check it out. Leo added another 5 pounds. He's a machine. Poor man says, him and Reaper get it no matter what. Yeah, they do. Poor man says, thank you, Garrett. Much appreciated. That's for sure. So we need to get poor man 15 more subscribers so can do some live streams. So for me, today was day 990 of burpees in a row. Theo says, Matty Sal is a great changeup in tempo and style. He makes burpees fun for me just by adding a backstory to the routines. Yeah, he does. Absolutely. Let's see. Emilia, did I say that right? Emilia says, Jesus really loves you. Well, I appreciate that. Hey, Odom, how are you? How are things on the homestead? Bumblebee T is here. T, I mentioned you just a minute ago. Told everyone who was in the chat at the time that you were home from the hospital, that you were in a hotel room for a short period of stay. So, big welcome back to Bumblebee T. Odin says, I can't complain, waiting for rain. Man, we haven't had as much rain here this year. It used to be, almost daily summer thunderstorms. We only got a few of them this year. We did get a tornado in my backyard. That I could have done without. And I know Odom had a tornado sweep through his property. Man, this was all the way back, I believe, in June. T says, thanks, Yogi. There was a time in my life, decades and decades ago, when I would have had something different to say about a message that says Jesus loves you. Coming from a Catholic upbringing, leaving the church behind me, it seemed the last thing I wanted to hear was someone saying such a thing. I was on my own journey, my own path, that at the time I felt no longer included Jesus. And I was mistaken. Because the path always includes all-inclusive love. And Jesus is synonymous with all-inclusive love. So to block out an aspect of myself that is Jesus is to block out an essential part of myself. I would no more block out Jesus than I would Krishna or the teachings of Buddha. And then, of course, committing myself to A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles is, if you believe it, is the voice of Jesus for modern times. Not everyone has to believe that, of course. But A Course in Miracles, by right, has more in common with Buddhism and Avidya Vedanta than it does Christianity. Poor man says, tornadoes, no fun, been in the middle of a few. This is, I had one directly in my backyard. Man, it was like a freight train hit, bigger than a freight train. And it wasn't even that big of a tornado. Lots of neighborhood damage, localized. Amazing, something that big, how I can just do something in the size of a football field. Let's see. Odom says, yes, in June. Poor man says, oh, read that. Yogi says, Yogi, you put up a video of the tornado, didn't you? Yeah, I put up a video of the aftermath. I got a warning that says, immediately head to your basement. I tried to get my cats to go down to the basement. The cats wanted nothing to do with being picked up and carried. So I figured, you know what? If my cats got to weather the storm, I got to weather it with them. It'd be really unfair to abandon those that depend upon you. I figured I wouldn't abandon my dog if I still had my dog. So I won't abandon my cat. Cats, 2 of them. Wow, that's scary. Poor man. Poor man was in a car, and one of the wheels were coming off the ground. I've had some approach but not hit in this area when I was out running in a race sometimes. There was one swept through a 24-hour race, but it was a little bit in the distance, but it was close enough that we thought it could swing over this way. When you are out on a trail, no place to go whatsoever, it's pretty scary. I imagine being in a car. You think you feel safe in a car, but I would imagine when that wind hits, it's a whole nother story. Poor man says, it hits so fast, there's no time to react unless you take cover ahead of time. Yeah, we got really lucky. The fact that several trees, again, right in my backyard, were literally snapped in half. They weren't toppled over. They snapped in half, but it didn't touch my house. T says, hi to poor man, Odom, Leo, and Austin. Odom says, about 4 years ago, the place I worked the place I worked at weekend at got destroyed by a tornado. A few people got hurt. I don't think anyone got killed, though. Wow. They are scary. Poor man waves a bumble. Poor man says, that's all that good karma, Yogi. Man, I hope I didn't use it all up in one shot. That would suck. Odom says hello to Bumblebee. He says, I already said hi to you, Yogi. Yep, you did. Odom says it went through 3 counties. Cost over $1 billion. Well, billion something dollars worth of damage, and the whole storm in 3 counties, I think 9 people lost their lives. Wow, that's tragic. And as Poor Man says, there's nothing you can do. Poor Man says, Odom, you live in the South. Hey, Odom, did I see that you're doing a Get It Off Your Chest Thursday tonight? Odom says, yep, Tennessee. Are you guys connected with Odom? It's a really, really great channel. It is a homesteading channel. I thought I saw that a notification that it was a Get It Off Your Chest Thursday, but I'm looking at your channel and I don't see it, so I guess I was mistaken. Poor Man sub to Odom. Awesome, guys. As a kid in this area, you know, every once in a while there'd be a tornado warning, but we never took it serious because no one ever heard of a tornado here. Just never really seemed to happen. Now, every year, one will hit in this area. I had a friend in York County, Pennsylvania. His entire barn completely ruined. Odom says, I was, but I just don't have it in me today. That's understandable. William says, of course I did not get the job, all because I supposedly work for their competitor. I give up on humanity. What do you mean you work for their competitor? I know it's difficult, William. Do your best not to take it personally. You weren't. Something better is going to come. Something better is going to come. Austin says, I just subbed to Odom. Great, Austin. Hey, Hard Worker, how are you? Hard Worker says, hello, Johnny Sins. All right, sometimes I get the references. Sometimes I don't. Who do we got with Johnny Sins? Doing a quick Google. Ah. He's a bald guy. That I probably could have guessed. I'll take it. Hey, he looks in pretty good shape. Remember, William, it's you play in the odds. Buddha's here. Buddha, my friend, how are you? Buddha of Destiny Namaste says, hey, Yogi. Hey, Buddha, my friend. I'm glad to see you. Hard Worker says he's a popular guy. This is the very first I heard of him. Thanks for bringing him up. I'm going to check him out. I did a quick Google. I see he's popular on Instagram. Looks in really good shape. I see he's teaching yoga. He's actually teaching yoga to, here's a photo, teaching yoga to an older lady, and he's looking pretty ripped. There was a time in my life I wasn't too far away from that size. Way back in the day. I can't carry that weight now because, for one, I don't want to eat that much. T says, William, hello, brother. I'm sorry, but one day at a time. I'm out of the hospital. William says, I'm done playing the odds. My life isn't a game. Goodbye. It's not a game. However, it's trite to say it is what it is, but it literally is what it is. All we can do is show up and do our best, day in, day out. But your life isn't a job. It might seem that way. Your life isn't a job, William. So to give up because you didn't get a job, don't put that much of your identity in a job. I know how important it is to you, and you will find the right job. And that's the thing. This wasn't the right job. If it was the right job, it would be your job right now. Buddha says, hey, Odom and Bumblebee T. Odom says, so did William Hart. William says, no amount of effort or integrity has amounted to shit in my life. It's not supposed to. You can't measure your integrity or your effort on external results. It has nothing to do with external results. Are you practicing integrity? Are you being a person of integrity to get something? Because if you are, you're always going to be disappointed. Just be William Hart. Be open and true. Be who you are. You're a kind, caring, compassionate person. You're extremely intelligent. Focus on you, and the right job will come. The right job. Give me a second. Guts says, Tachima on 2 months of fasting. Nice. Mintu says, finally I'm here. Welcome, my friend. T says, William, trust me, life isn't easy for many of us. I've got no home. I can't get the health care I need, but I hold on. Poor man says, everything we do is a sandcastle on the beach. So I always think when we talk about jobs, I wanted to Google it up to make sure I was getting everything correct. 8 limbs of Buddhism, that one of the 8 limbs is right livelihood. Right livelihood is one of the branches. Refers to earning and living in a way that is moral and doesn't harm others or oneself. It's part of the morality aspect of the Eightfold Path. It's hard finding a job like that, let alone a career. Doesn't mean it's impossible, though. If you didn't get this job, it wasn't the right job for you, William. Mintu says, thank you so much for your welcome. I appreciate it. You're welcome, my friend. I'm happy to have you here. Austin has just subbed to Bumblebee T. Thank you, Austin. William says, I'm glad everyone else has things they want to keep striving for. I no longer do. Hey, that's not a bad place to be, William. Let things come to you now. Focus on you. Focus on the internal William Hart and let things come to you. That doesn't mean you don't take action, but when you focus on the internal you, you're taking the right action. T says, hi, Mintu. Hey, Alexandria, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Austin says, just subbed to William. William says, dedicated so much time and effort to studying to get a job in this field and amounted to shit. It did this time. But this is just one time, William. It's just one time. No lie. Life can be difficult. We often don't get the thing that we want the most. I guarantee you probably everyone here in this chat has been through that. I know that doesn't make it easier for you, William. But you will get through this and you will get the right job. T says, William, we don't all have those things, brother, but we are here for each other. Yes, we are. William says, I know you're angry and upset. That's perfectly normal. William says, if a sandcastle is on the beach, I refuse to take part in it anymore. Thanks for dropping your link. Brian says, yeah, Eric, I was talking to that friend on Messenger about it, and it doesn't seem like my friend wants to believe that we all won. It's a hard thing to believe unless you've had the experience. And you've had enough, you've been meditating long enough where you've had that experience, Brian. And there's just no way that you can pass it on to someone who isn't open to experience it themselves. So you just keep shining your light. The right people will show up. The people who are meant to get the message, get the message. William, I agree. This was the message of, Jesus, of being in the world but not of the world. T says she's taking her meds. Thank you for saying that. Time for me to take mine. Supplement, actually. Alexandria says finally out of the hospital. That's awesome to hear, Alexandria. Coincidentally, our friend T is out of the hospital as of yesterday. So how are you feeling, Alexandria? T says hi to Brian. Brian says hello to everyone. William says I will carve it out myself. T says, Alexandria, yes, I came out of the hospital yesterday. Mintu says, I am more than happy to be with you here. This is a great place, and I feel so right about this. Well, thank you. And again, we're really happy to have you here. William says, sub to this channel, guys. He drops a link for Jacob. Thank you, William. Foreman is waving at Brian. Brian says, when I had my near-death experience, I was the cosmos of the universe when I died. And that's something that you can't convince other people of. So we don't even bother. Mintu says, Bumblebee Tree, namaste. Wetback says, are you okay? And we get a whoa. I'm fine, my friend. Appreciate you asking. Eduardo says, hey man, stay strong with chemotherapy. You will get better. Well, Sometimes people don't, my friend. Johnny Sin's cousin spotted. Hey, that's the second time someone said that in this chat. Timo drops a link. Guys, make sure you check out Timo's link. Timo, Sabine, Eric Lapointe. We had a great discussion. We're gonna have a dance-off. There's gonna be the great YouTube live stream dance-off between me and Eric Lapointe. There can only be one Eric from this point out. Thank you, Timo. Hey, thank you for that video. That made me laugh. Boyum says, if it's meant to be anything else, then I guess God will intervene. Otherwise, it is set in stone. Nothing's ever set in stone, my friend. Alexandria says, got radiotherapy now. Well, my prayers are with you, my friend. All of our prayers are with you. When does that begin for you? Timo says so, my friend. I'm looking again at the video. We got several, guys. As I mentioned, I hope that makes me, Timo, I hope that makes me Kevin Bacon. Brian is waving at Timo. T says hi to Timo. Optimob says, sorry guys. Fell behind just a minute. There we go. Optimob says, hello Alexandria. We hope you're doing better. Did you hear her announcement that she's out of the hospital? Sabine says, hello Yogi Eric. Hello, my friend Sabine. Sabine says, hello everyone in the chat. First face swap video. Oh, I'm looking at it again. It's a hilarious video. If only I could dance like that. If only I could dance like that, my friends. Optimob says they couldn't resist. He's laughing. T says, Eduardo, hello. T says, Timo, I love the dancing. So who do you think is going to win in a dance-off between me and Eric Lapointe? Optimob says that I couldn't resist making the video. Sabine warned us that you were hard at work, that you were already in the process. T says, Sabine, hello, sister. I'm out of the hospital. Sabine says, that's good to hear, Bumblebee. Thank God. That was a long stay. It was not. It was a long stay. It was not easy on our friend T at all. I am, my friend. Mintu. Maybe just you and I. Brian says, Qigong versus yoga. I thought maybe you would enjoy that video I sent Eric. I have it saved. I haven't had a chance to dive into it yet. I'm looking forward to it. I love both practices. I'm partial towards yoga, but I've practiced quite a bit of Qigong through the years. It's actually one of my favorite. I don't think I can find it. I'll dig it out and show you guys. Timo says it's nice to hear that you are out of the hospital, Alexandria. She's starting a radiology therapy. Alexandria says, thanks, Timo. William says, I promise that this is. What do you mean, William? Optimob says, yeah, you look like Kevin Bacon. Whew, that's a relief. Not that there's anything the matter. Here's the difference. I don't know the other guy's name. It's Sean Penn's brother. But who wants to be the actor that everyone refers to as Sean Penn's brother? Alexandria says, thanks, Timo. Brian says, oh, and Eric, I'll still sometime, probably next time, send you my address if you want to send me your book. I absolutely do want to send you my book. So, yeah, but as soon as you get a chance. T says, Yogi, it depends if it is a forest or a basement. That's true. That's an excellent point, T. T says, more than 9 weeks in the hospital. And Optimob says 9 weeks is a very long time. It is. Mintu says, how's life, friend? Life is good. Mintu, I appreciate you asking. Life is always good. It's got bumps. It's got hardships. It's got a fair amount of sorrow. But all that is part of it being good because it's life. How about with you? How's everything with you, Mitsu? Let's see. Lion Moat says, is your book on Amazon? It is on Amazon. If you look under probably Eric Paul McCarty, McCarty. Mintu, I just subscribed to you, my friend. Just want to be able to stay connected. Poor man says, Mintu, celibate, but not by choice. Lion says, can you speak on depression? I can speak on depression. Give me 1 second. Optimob says, life is a struggle, or T says, Optimob, life is a struggle right now, but I'm taking 1 day at a time. It's been a choice for me for the past year. Poor man. So, Sabine says, okay, I have to say bye. I'm so tired. I wish you all a good night. Take care and bless you all. Take care, Sabine, and blessings to you, my friend. All right. Speaking of depression, from my own personal experience, I have suffered low-level depression, underlying depression, for much of my life, probably even in childhood, and not known about it. But it became very prevalent in my teens, through my 20s, through my 30s, through my 40s, in my 50s. I'm 59 years old now. I no longer suffer depression. However, depression is still prevalent in my life. Probably always will be. The difference is saying I no longer suffer depression, meaning it's not a choice. I didn't decide I'm not going to suffer from depression any longer. Just through my own practice of meditation, of breath work, yoga asanas, my own practice of forgiveness, forgiveness as a practice, meaning that it's continuous. And that depression, I see it coming. I feel it coming. It's like a storm cloud coming in. I no longer try to avoid it. It used to be I would see it coming and I would add to it. I would add suffering into the mix by saying, oh no, here it comes. I don't want this. Not now. Not ever. But we don't get to make that choice. No one chooses depression. Ever. No one chooses grief. No one chooses any of the things that are going to happen to us. However, we suffer when we are trying to avoid it. When we say, no, not this, not now. I don't want this. Because you're not going to escape it. You're not going to escape what is coming. And just that little shift of knowing that what is what is, and that I don't need to seek to escape it, that I'll be okay, that I've gotten through this before, that I can love myself, I can hold myself, and yes, as Lion says, forgive myself. I can forgive myself. I forgive myself for thinking that I have to escape depression. I can forgive myself for not opening up and accepting the fact that I am depressed. And in that forgiveness, everything is slightly easier, lighter, still present, but the sufferer is no longer there. The experience of depression is still there, but the experiencer is less. T says, Mintu Krishna, your new channel. Optimop says, good night. We are already Friday here. Good night, my friend Timo. Thank you for those videos. Thank you for that laugh. T says, Sabine, take care and sleep well. Hey, Runner Boy. Didn't see you come in. Runner Boy says, watch time still go down, but tomorrow it should start to count when everyone started to come to my playlist. Nice. I've had you up through the day. Foreman says, sup, runner? Brian says, so today did 120 rounds of 10 pump burpees. I saw your video on Facebook. Man, you were going fast. Lion says, forgiving yourself. It's essential. Essential. In essence, all we ever get to forgive is ourselves. We never forgive other people. Do you know why? There are no other people. There are no others. Poor man says, damn, Brian, 1,200 pumps. Good on you, man. Brian's a machine. Mentioned before, one of the most powerful burpee practitioners. Lion says, yeah, I personally can't get out of bed. I know people like that. It has never been that hard for me. Occasionally, where it was a struggle to get out of bed, but people I'm very close to, they've had it where they can't get out of bed. When you are not in the midst of it, meaning when you're not bedridden, when things are feeling a little bit better, start to incorporate the things that you'll find helpful later. When you're depressed, you might not be up for doing breath work. You might not be up for meditation. You might not be up for anything except for being in bed. That's okay. But when you are feeling up to it, meditate. Do your breath work. Exercise. Get out in nature. Those 4 things. Be creative. 5 things. And it'll start building a foundation and a base. It's not a cure for depression. What it is a manageable plan for getting through depression in a lighter and easier fashion. 100% effective? nothing's 100% effective. I could be hit with major depression tomorrow. However, over the past several years, again, it's gotten lighter and lighter and lighter. Hey, Easy, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Minty says, life is great, I'm happy, and I'm at peace. Life is about whatever is happening, and I have accepted it wholeheartedly, which makes it pure bliss. I would agree with you. I would agree with you. If you notice what Mintu says, there's not an absence of anything. He didn't say that I'm happy and at peace. Life is about whatever is happening. Sometimes what is happening is depression. Sometimes it's sorrow. Sometimes it's grief. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's illness. Very well said, Mintu. Brian says, that video on Facebook was of 1 pump burpees from Saturday before I went to work. Okay. I will make sure to check out your, I'll go to your channel in a bit and make sure I check out your new one. Brian says, thanks, poor man. You're also constantly going beast mode on your workouts. 200-pound sandbag. Yeah, that is definitely beast mode. Alexandria says, night Timo. Poor man says, I was like that when I was drinking. Effing horrible. Yeah, it was worse for me when I was drinking. I talked, in my morning live stream, I talked quite a bit, an entire decade given to drinking. What a waste, but at the time, it couldn't have been anything otherwise. T says, Zion, I've experienced it like that, small steps. Foreman says, Brian, I'm going to follow Leo's live later. Got the 40-pound vest. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Hey, Tony, how are you? Tony says, trying to get it brewing, you dig? I dig. I don't understand, but I dig, my friend. Hi, Carl, how are you? Carl says, thanks for joining. Thanks, my friend, for joining. Absolutely. I was happy to sit and listen. It was a fun conversation. Hey, Carl, you are an excellent live streamer, my friend. Very personal, welcoming, just a great place to hang out. I hope you guys get a chance to hang out with Carl. Lion says, thanks, Bumble. I feel ashamed that I'm here complaining. 2 things. Being ashamed has never served anyone, ever. It's never served. 2, you absolutely weren't complaining at all. You were open. You were sharing. Sharing your experience makes it all the much easier for someone else to come in and share their experience. The chat is better because you opened up, because you shared. Give everyone a chance to reach out. Gave everyone a chance to reach out and be there for you. So nothing to be ashamed of, my friend, at all. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you opened up and shared. And 2, you did us a great service. You gave us an opportunity to extend ourselves to a friend. So thank you. Lion says, I don't know what to do. Hey, just keep showing up. Keep showing up and hanging out. We can't make any promises, but we will do what we can to be there for you. Hey, Rich Martinez from the cave is here. Says, salute, Yogi. Salute to you, my friend. You guys hang out in the cave? It was Rich Martinez that caused me to challenge Eric Lapointe to a dance-off. That's right. It's going to be a battle of the Erics. There can only be one dance king. We're going to have to get Rich Martinez to be the judge. Duncan says, a lot watching today. Yeah, it's a pretty good crowd. People coming and going. What's new, Duncan? Poor man says, Duncan Walsh. T says, hi to Duncan. Is everyone connected with the legendary Duncan Walsh? And don't throw that term around lightly. How does 140 plus Navy SEALs in 20 minutes sounds to you guys? How does being 58 years old and getting 140 plus? I believe 142. Was it 142 or 143, Duncan, on his last attempt? Brian says, that's great, poor man. Yeah, I still one day need to get a vest sometimes. Now load up the backpack with about 50 pounds and do push-ups. T says hi to Cave. T says hello to Carl. Which says suit to Bumble. Man, it's a good time hanging out at the cave. Whenever you get the opportunity, take advantage of it. Mintu says to T, I recently started using social media. In fact, I don't use a cell phone. I decided to use social media so that I could learn more, share my experiences with others if it helps. Well, I appreciate you being here, Mintu. I'm glad you found us. Lion says, thank you. You're welcome, my friend. Hey. Lion, I've also subscribed to you. The fact that you are experiencing what you're experiencing, but you're coming here to share, do you know how helpful that might be to someone? That they see that and they see that it's okay to share. It's okay to approach people and say, hey, look, guys, I'm not doing so well. I could use a friend. I could use a helping hand. I could use someone that I can talk to. So that was big, Lion. That was huge. Rich says, right on. Sadly for me, it seems like more people have faith in Eric LaPointe's dance skills than my own. I spent almost 15 years dancing at Grateful Dead shows. I'm an experienced dancer. I'm an experienced hippie dancer that takes no skill whatsoever. Nonetheless, I can get the job done. Duncan says, just a yogi dancing in his basement. That's me. It's going to be my new channel. Brian says, yeah, Leo doing an amazing job. Duncan says, hey to all. T says, Duncan, I'm out of the hospital. Duncan says, staggered through 142. Hey, Duncan, what are the possibilities of 150? That is Busy Dad graduation status. Do you think it's possible? Rex Vandal says, I have to go to the bathroom. Be strong, my friend. Be fearless. You can do this. T says, great to hear, Bumble. Rich says, thanks so much, Eric. Absolutely. I give praise when it's deserved. Channels like The Cave, Rich's channel, man, for me, they provide a necessary service. They give a bright spot to the day. Someone could be having a horrible day, trouble at work or whatever. They can click on YouTube and they got a fun place, even if it's just for 5 minutes to hang out. Plus, it's something that Rich is obviously passionate about and loves what he's doing. It makes him feel better to do it. It's a win-win situation. It's a, man, in my opinion, this is the beauty of YouTube. The beauty of YouTube can go from me watching Poor Man's Gym do back extensions with a 200-pound sandbag, to Duncan Walsh staggering through 142 Navy SEALs, to watching T play the Amazing Grace on the drums, and then hanging out with Rich Martinez at the cave, listening to great dance music. And so many people in between. Can't leave off our good friend Brian. Can't leave off anyone. As I just mentioned to Carl, I think Carl's a perfect live streamer. He was just so laid back, like hanging out with your friend in the living room when you were, teenagers. T says, Duncan, so many issues, but one day at a time. Duncan says, how's training, Brian? Lion says, I've been through a lot, but this is very difficult. No doubt, my friend, no doubt. But you know what? All that you've been through has helped you get to this point and will help you get to the next point. Right now, you're down. It will get better. It will get better. When you're able, do the steps that help. Don't push yourself through the times when it feels impossible. But when you're able, whenever you're able, get outside in nature. One step, get outside in nature. Nature's healing. The fractal patterns, instead a keyword for our friend Duncan, as well as Eric Lapointe, fractal patterns. The fractal patterns in nature immediately begin to work on your brain waves, putting you into a very light alpha brainwave state, which is a healing, creative, inspirational state, just by being out in nature. Then walk. Easy pace. Doesn't have to be brisk. If you want to walk brisk, that's fine too, but just walk. Walking increases feel-good hormones, endorphins. Two things are happening now. You're creating a biological change in your system. The sunlight, the fractal patterns are creating a neurological change in the system. Then if you're up for it, another thing you can do, as you're walking, concentrate on nasal breathing. Breathing in, don't force it, just naturally, easy through the nose, exhale through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. You're walking in nature at whatever pace is comfortable for you, whatever you feel like doing at that moment, and you're breathing through the nose, in and out. Now you've entered a very light pranayama. You're literally meditating in nature, through nature, as you're walking. Everything's beginning to change. As you're nasal breathing, concentrate on maybe exhaling a little bit more than you inhale. That puts you in the parasympathetic nervous state, which is the healing state. It's the rest and digest state, relax and digest state. So now we're also increasing the production of serotonin and melatonin at the very same time. If you can do this early in the morning, even better. On the days that you're able to get out of bed, this is what you do. When you come in, because you've increased into those alpha state, do something creative. Draw. Write something. Write through your depression. Write about your depression. Write what you're experiencing right now, without trying to change it, without trying to make yourself feel better. Just write. Or take some photos when you're out in nature. Do something creative. Use those alpha brainwaves to be creative, to be inspired, to open to inspiration itself. Just those steps. And then we'll add things in later. Duncan says fractal patterns. I knew that would get you. Duncan says, busy dad is going through a bit of a dilemma. He thought his form was not up to scratch. He adopted by really intensive his quads to maintain a straight back, and his numbers have dropped significantly. Man, I don't know why he would change his form. That's like, what do they call it in baseball? when you start changing things and then you can't hit anymore. The only time I thought his form suffered is when he was doing stuff with his weight vest. T says, Duncan, sorry to hear. Hope things resolve soon. Lion says, yeah. Foreman says, Yoga, I got to stop sleeping in and get up the same time every day. Going on 6 hours sleep today. Man, the body and the mind loves routine. I'm always in bed near around the same time. Not always exact. I'm up every day, no matter how I feel, at the exact same time. And it helps. I'm in a circadian pattern. It took me a while to get there. And that's why I don't want to mess it up. But if you get into that circadian rhythm, if you get that early morning sunlight is a game changer in your mental health, your circadian rhythm, your sleep habits, as well as emotional health. Duncan says, Max, I think, is becoming too stressed about the burpees. He already has stress dreams. I remember that, about not being able to complete a rep. I feel a little concerned hearing him these days. You know, he asked me if I would be on his podcast sometime. Maybe we would talk about that. You and I talked about that once before. One of the reasons I sort of stopped with the Busy Dad, I got tired of numbers. I got tired of and I was doing it every day. And I did it every day for almost 2 years. But I got tired of chasing numbers and then judging my workout. How many did I get? How close did I get to a PR? Did I do better than last time? I don't know. Maybe it's a young man's game. Poor man says, Duncan Walsh almost sounds like OCD. It does, a little bit. Duncan says, I agree about his form. It was absolutely fine. Lion says, my routine out the window. It's hard for you. It's hard to have that routine when the last thing you want to do is get out of bed. This is where self-forgiveness comes in, my friend. This is why we forgive. If you could, people say, force yourself to get out of bed. Take charge. Seize the day. If you could do that, you would. Be forgiving to yourself. When you can get out of bed, you get out of bed. What you find is you start building a habit. Before you know it, your body's taken over. Your mind might be saying, nope, I'm not getting out of bed today. But before you know it, your body, out of routine, is getting up, taking care of business. Let's see. Poor man says, yeah, man, early sunlight, think it will help insomnia. It'll absolutely will. As soon as light hits the eyes, your body starts producing cortisol, norepinephrine, and adrenaline, stress hormones, which doesn't sound good. Aren't we combating stress? Nope, we're not combating stress. Everything grows by stress. Stress isn't bad. It's that constant, consistent, underlying stress that we get. And we never have the proper downtime. If we go up, we need to bring it back down. That underlying stress, that's what gets to us. But stress in its natural function, it's just stress. It's not good or bad. It's just stress. So we want the right amount. And sunlight gives us just the right amount. It's a natural cup of coffee. We're good to go. We're ready to chase down the woolly mammoth and fight the saber-toothed tiger. The way it's supposed to be. However, those very same hormones throughout the course of the day begin to die off, and their waste material that's left over, the body uses to make serotonin and melatonin, which help us sleep. So the early morning sunlight is the trigger for the circadian rhythm. Without early morning sunlight, we're slightly off key for the rest of the day, and we never can quite put our fingers. Why? Why don't I feel 100%? Why is it a struggle to get out of bed? Why is it difficult to go to sleep? And then night yoga, breath work before you go to bed, de-stress, go from that sympathetic nervous state to the parasympathetic. Breathe in, take a few breaths, easy and natural, nothing strained. And then when you're ready, breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, slow count. Not 4 seconds, it's your count. Count of 4. Exhale through your nose for a count of 8. Do what's called Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi, depending how you say it. Ujjayi is that ha sound, as if you are fogging up a pair of glasses. But you're going to do it just through your nose with your mouth shut. And as you breathe in, as you breathe out. So here's how it's going to sound. You do that for a count of 4. Exhale. "10 rounds, or do it until you fall asleep. The longer exhalation, again, puts us in the rest and digest, the sleep mode, prepares us for sleep. You can also, if you want, seal off, exhale through the left. Breathe in with both, exhale through the left. The left side corresponds to the parasympathetic state. So when we emphasize the left, we are entering more deeply into that. I got a video on my channel just a few days ago on sleep breathing, sleep hygiene. So if you want to check it out, it might be helpful. T says, Yogi, who you're talking about? We were talking about Busy Dad himself, Max Edwards. He was an early influence on my beginning burpee days. Great guy. Yeah, and he's very intense. He's a philosophy professor. Duncan says, do you have cold showers in the morning, Eric? Even for perhaps 30 seconds? I used to. I haven't in a really long time. Since I got old. I used to do cold plunges. Before COVID, I went to a spa, mainly for the saunas, but I would also do the cold plunge. I love saunas. It's been a long time, though. T says, Lion, I've got no routine, and I'm going to try on day 2 after hospital. I missed a few meds last night and slept like crap. I'm going to make sure tonight I do better. Lion says, sorry about that. What happened? Poor Man says, Duncan, burpee training seems like once you get to a certain level, like an elite level, those guys that can do it, they want to push it as far as possible, maybe to an unsustainable point. Just rambling. I agree, Poor Man. And it is unsustainable. I tried to sustain it for a long time. Physically, I didn't do too bad, but it got tiresome mentally. Duncan says, the increase in dopamine production from a cold shower, ice bath, is greater than both tobacco and cocaine. Yeah, I would always feel good. Man, the last few years, it got harder and harder to shake off that cold, though. T says, Yogi, being light sensitive caused my health issues. Could that impact sleep and energy too? Oh, it certainly could, actually. Because we need a certain amount of natural sunlight. So the fact that you're sensitive to it means that you're prohibited from getting just the right amount. It's hard to enter into the circadian rhythm without getting a little bit of morning light. It doesn't have to be much, 5 minutes in the morning. T, I wonder if you could work up. I wonder if you got up in the morning, 1 minute of natural sunlight. CC says, what is this about? We're talking about sleep issues and training right now. But we'll talk about it pretty much, I'll talk about pretty much anything. I think I've proven that over and over again. Duncan says, unlike cocaine, there is no sharp rise and crash. Cold plunges provide a sustained rise in dopamine over 3 hours. Increased dopamine was found to last in the body for up to 6 hours after an ice bath, cold shower. Nice. You almost have me reconsidering. I'm sure my mind will change as soon as I get in 30 seconds for a cold shower. Lion says, I thought depression was fake. Lion says, even animals get depressed. Yeah, depression is certainly not fake, my friend. Hey, Joe, how are you? Joe Delaney is in the house. Says, hi, everyone. If you guys need inspiration, if you need a dose of motivation, if you just want to feel good, go visit Joe Delaney, because she has all of that in full effect. Poor man says, need to make a cold plunge in the backyard. Yeah, that would be helpful. That would be helpful. Hey, Lion, that is something to consider as well. 30-second cold shower for the dopamine increase, as Duncan was saying. And when you're ready, we'll talk meditation. Meditation is a game changer. The entire path of yoga, from breath work to asana to meditation, a game changer for emotional health. Lion says, how do you fix sleeping routine? Making small changes, starting with what time you get up. Try to get up at the same time. Some days you're going to fail. Now we're back to self-forgiveness. When you fail, just try to do better the next day. Don't beat yourself up. Don't add anything. Don't add any suffering to the mixture. Life will take care of that. So, set an alarm if you can. Don't hit the snooze button. Don't look at your phone at night. If you can't get to sleep, don't worry about it. Some school of thought say get up and do something. Others say stay in bed because at least you're getting some rest. I think they're both right. Do what works best for you. Get up at the same time. Get some early sunlight. Walk in nature. Before you go to bed, de-stress. Give yourself at least an hour away from any digital devices. You don't want the light from a computer, from a cell phone to interfere. Don't have any light, little as possible, in your room. Before you go to bed, do some breath work. Breathe in for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 8. That might be hard for some people to start with. Practice. Breathe in for 3, exhale for 6. You just want to make the exhalation longer than the inhalation. If you go to my channel, I have a video on sleep hygiene. I talk about all this. Lion says, hey, I'll try this. If you reach out to me you can send me an email. If you're on Facebook, connect with me on Facebook. I will teach you mantra meditation, an ancient form of yogic Vedic meditation, absolutely for free. Duncan says, let's see, T says, sorry, let me catch up. One perk now is I should be able to comment on videos. I do manage to watch. Nice. Poor man says, I did lawn card and sunlight this afternoon. Felt great. Did a bunch of pull-ups in the park. Some Mike Tyson's. I've never done a Mike Tyson. I need to. I like the way they look. T says, Yogi, is that a challenge? 1 minute in the morning? I'll give it a go. It is a challenge. 1 minute in the morning. Natural sunlight. Lion says, when I fall asleep in the AM, it does make it a little more difficult, but not impossible. Do you need to fall asleep in the morning? Are you working is it part of a work schedule? T says, I do prefer colder hair washes than hot. Duncan says, I've been playing the cold shower game recently. 30 seconds to 1 minute. I think it's very good. I'm tempted. Touch base with me tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it after my workout. Man, I should have started in June. Why didn't we have this conversation in June when it was hot outside? T says, Lion, it depends on what's wrong with your sleep routine. I have sleep disorder on top of chronic fatigue syndrome. T says, Duncan, when I get a shower, I do a quick cold blast, but need to be careful with my pain conditions. Duncan says, does anyone here know Eric has a members where he offers special services? I have not, members area. I have not mentioned that. So he says, Duncan, special servers? I do. And I'm happy to work with people there. Like I says, I effed myself up by sleeping all day and staying up all night. Slowly start to fix it. Just turn it around a little bit, but don't start all at once. You could, if you're up for it, you could try. I did it that way before. I just simply stayed up through the day, knowing that I would be tired, and I'd get some sleep at night. Foreman says, I worked in a freezer for 12 years, cold all day. Yeah, man, the last maybe 5 years, I just started losing my tolerance for cold. I spent 30 minutes. This was back in like 2020. 20 minutes in a cold, or 30 minutes in a cold plunge at the spa. Duncan says, are you a little better now, Bumble? Lion says, thanks. You're welcome, my friend. Well, last freezer was 15 to negative 15 to negative 20 Fahrenheit. Man, I would not enjoy that. Lion says, is your email on your channel? It is. Should be on my, right on my main page. There's like a little gray box somewhere. If you don't see it, here it is. No comments about the AOL, by the way. If Night Watcher was here, he would be all over it. If William Downey is live right now, I believe. If he was live, if he was here, he would be all over it as well. T says, Yogi, I've got a challenge every video. You need to mention your member section. And my challenge is the 1 minute light. I seldom remember. I got a few videos in the works that I want to do. What I really want to present, yoga asana routines that are cost effective, meaning you get the most bang for the least amount of poses. You don't need to invest into a 90-minute class. You can, absolutely nothing the matter with that. But this is yoga for spirituality. It's yoga for preparing for meditation. It's a meditation in and of itself. Duncan says, yes, Bumble, he should. I keep telling him. Yes, he does. Duncan has been 100% fully encouraging me to speak out about it. Joe Delaney says, laughing out loud, I frowned when I saw it. I hold on to old things. I take a lot of abuse for my American Online. It's not my main account. My main account is Google, and I usually don't share that. But this one I check every day, so it's always, it's safe to share. T says, poor man, I worked in a supermarket freezer food. He wasn't allowed to stay in too long. I bet. T says, Joe, frown about what? AOL. Duncan says, busy dad yoga. Exactly. Without the intensity. Max would greatly benefit from practicing yoga. From the breath work, I know he does Wim Hof, but everything Max does is 100% intensity. He needs the opposite. He doesn't need Wim Hof, heavy breathing that puts him in that sympathetic state. He needs softer, easier breathing, parasympathetic breathing that brings him down, keeps him relaxed, helps him recover. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally. 20 minutes 4 times a week. That's not bad. But for me, I'd rather do 5 minutes 7 days a week, 10 minutes 7 days a week. I do about 30 to 40 minutes 7 days a week. I don't think everyone needs to do that. The least amount you need, and then of course if there's specific things that need to be addressed, you add those in. We should run that by Max, Busy Dad Yoga. Someday I need to give the Busy Dad routine a full commitment, meaning just 4 days a week, nothing else. My friend Stephen Price is here, says, what a lovely shiny head, looking amazing today as always. Thank you, my friend. I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling extra shiny. It must be because I knew you were coming. I knew you were going to be here, and it just got a natural shine in preparation. Thank you, my friend. He says, Yogi, I came across a channel that if you can, quote, do the right yoga poses, there's a alternative. There's always an alternative. Joe says, I had no idea that email engine was still around. Only for me. I'm the one thing that's keeping it alive. If it wasn't for me, AOL would cease to exist. If it wasn't for my Blockbuster card that I still have, Blockbuster would cease to exist. I'm old school all the way. She says, Jodolini, as I understand, same here. I thought that was about 40 years ago. Joe says, right. Joe Delaney, it's a good thing that I am demure. And I have a good sense of humor. Duncan says, be honest, sometimes Max doesn't push through when he could. I mentioned he could do his effort unbroken. He did, and his numbers went up. It's a good point. Man, Duncan, I mentioned, I forget what it's called in baseball. When all of a sudden you're doing everything right and something gets in your head and you switch something, your stance or how you hold the bat or whatever, and then you can't hit. I forget what it's called. Lion says, I don't remember being normal. I'm not a fan of antidepressants. Neither am I. And it was offered to me on more than one occasion. But it's not, if we need them to get over the hump, take them. If you need them, take them. If you think that you can get by without them, see how you can do it. But don't be afraid to take the medication if it's needed. As far as being normal, no such thing. No such thing, my friend. T says, Yogi, we talked about Wim Hof, and I have not gone in that as it's too stimulating for me. There's no need for anyone to be that overly into that sympathetic nervous state. Maybe for some people. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Breath of Fire in and of itself is more than enough. It withstood thousands of years of yogic training. We don't always need to tamper with things. T says, yoga here, coconut oil is good for the skin. I imagine make a bald head smell nice still. Laughing, says Soy Mocha. Oil is very good. It's an Ayurvedic, heated oil. It's an Ayurvedic trick. Good for a lot of things. Lion says, because deep down, I know I can only help myself. Poor man says, gotta go. Peace all. Take care, poor man. Appreciate you hanging out. Lion says, coconut oil is good, cold pressed. I would agree. Lion, we're here to help ourselves. And you can do it. You can definitely do this. T says, Lion, basil is a natural antidepressant. I love this stuff, including pesto. Jordan is laughing. True, Mr. Eric Demure. It is my middle name. Next time you see Eric Lapointe, ask him, is it true that they call you Sugar Plum? And see what he says. Duncan says, Eric, to surprise all the bald trolls, you should do one live stream wearing a hairpiece and not mention it to anyone throughout. Jace did that this morning. He did his workout, started it with a hairpiece. He looked like Gabe Kaplan, if anyone remembers him. T says, poor man. The yips, that's what it's called. Thank you. That's what it reminds me with Max, that he gives himself the yips. It says, it makes some used to make out with the cheese. I used to make it without the cheese. Joe says, oh, Duncan, great idea. I want to be tagged on that live. I'll see what I can do. I'll look on Amazon. Some people here might remember my ponytail days. Wasn't that long ago. During the COVID shutdown, growing up, being a Grateful Dead hippie, always had long blonde hair. Until I didn't. A tip for any guy starting to lose some hair, if you ever think to yourself as you're combing your hair back, man, if I just comb it a little over this way, soon as you are even toying with the thought of a comb over, shave your head. Immediately. That's what I did. However, I always started thinking as I got older, the George Carlin old man hippie style ponytail, could I pull it off? And then when the shutdown came, I wasn't going anywhere. I thought, now's my chance. And I came to the conclusion, I cannot pull it off. Only certain older men can do the old man bald ponytail. I was not one of them. But go back to my early burpee videos and you'll see the ponytail. I don't know if Duncan remembers that ponytail or not. Joe says, I don't think he could keep his demure self through the live and not mention anything. That would be a challenge. I think I would throw my head back, like I was getting the hair out of my eyes, or just constantly, very demurely, of course. Lion says he used to cook a lot, but stopped all the good things. Hey, Lion, one little good thing a day. One little good thing a day. That's a good challenge. Do something that you used to love, something that you still love, but you haven't been able to do. Once a week, cook yourself something nice. Prepare yourself a wonderful dinner, as if you were greeting your very best friend that you haven't seen in ages, and you invited them over and you can't wait for them to show up. Because the truth is, that's exactly what you're doing. You are inviting your very best self to come for a visit, and you are preparing them a stupendous meal. You get to sit down and enjoy it. You get all the benefits of caring for yourself, of doing something that you love to do, and then eating that excellent meal that you prepared with love. In yogic terms, it's called prasad. Prasad. Prasad is food that is prepared with infinite love. You're giving it a blessing. You're saying thank you for every ingredient. And when you eat it, you're truly being nourished, because now you're nourishing yourself bodily, so physically, emotionally, and spiritually, all at the same time. Gratitude changes everything. My one practice in the morning that's made a huge difference: every morning I wake up and I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And for a long time, I had to fake it. I wasn't thankful. And a lot of times I forgot it. But I stuck with it as a practice. Before I knew it, I would wake up and unbidden, the thank you would come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all the things. And for the rest of the day, life would show me all the things I have to be thankful for. T says, yogi as in sugar from Sugar Plum Fairy? Yes. T says, is muesli, right? Is a healthy option in the morning? It is. I got 5 sachets of Alpen that I inherited in the hospital. Was given on my tray. It is good. T says, yogi, some of my hospital staff told me Timu has some cheap wigs. Just says, I'm definitely going to do a search. Man, Duncan, you see what you've gotten me into? T says, I know when old age hits, nasal hair. My dad, massive nasal hair, and expected me to use the scissors to cut them at his ear here. I would never, ever make a child of mine do such a thing. T says, I'm serious. By the way, not joking. What old bugger he was. Hey, he needed some help. Duncan says, the old men that think they're pulling off the old man's ponytail are actually not. I think the only one who ever did it was George Carlin. Maybe a couple. I think it helps if you're a musician or a stand-up comedian. I think if you're an old man doing burpees in your basement, that doesn't help the case. Duncan says that if they like it, who cares? I agree. T says 100%. You guys can check out the videos. All right, guys, I got to wrap things up. It's just about my bedtime. I got a few things to take care of before I go to bed. I'm going to look at a few channels real bit. Lion, my friend, we are here for you, whatever you need. Our new friend, Minot, right? It was Minot. Welcome, my friend, as well. And all my old friends. Thank you. Lion says, hey, thanks. I really appreciate it. You're welcome, my friend. 100%. We will be there for you. We will do our best to be there for you. T says, take care all. Lion, one small step at a time. Absolutely. I says, God bless everyone. God bless you, my friend. Duncan says, bye, Joe and all. Joe says, have a wonderful evening, everyone. You too, Joe. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks. Duncan Walsh, thank you for the shower suggestion. Thank you. I'm holding back on the thanks. The hair suggestion. The wig suggestion. You've gotten me in deep trouble. You've gotten me in deep trouble before. Not the first time. But I appreciate the suggestion. Guys, take care.